Welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we dissect the Railway series. I'm Jamie.
I'm Marina.
I'm Liv.
And we hope you enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we come up with increasingly absurd things to put on the iceberg. Not gonna tell you which iceberg, but an iceberg.
The iceberg.
It's the Pui Molcar iceberg, obviously.
Obviously.
See? I brought that
Podcast
joke
about
full
Pui Molcar.
circle! Everything comes full cube, baby!
I'm sad that ended yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it was the last episode. They're probably gonna do another season.
Oh, definitely. I still need to watch it, but it looks very good.
I think they just put it all on Netflix, actually.
Oh, cool.
Pui Molcar. It's the best anime of the winter 2020-2021 season. It's a stop motion about guinea pig cars.
Yeah.
So, now I know what I'm gonna do after we're done recording.
Welcome to the Molcar Book Club.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we do that?
I don't know if...
It'd be more interesting than this story. I mean, what? Sorry.
Top 11 times Bootlaces appeared in Pui Molcar
Oh, fuck yeah.
that you
I
should
love
experience
Bootlaces.
personally.
I think we should introduce ourselves.
We should.
Yes. My name is Jamie. I am your hostess with the mostest. Pronouns are she, her. Here are my friends.
I'm Marina, she, her. I'm your local TV series bitch.
I'm Liv. I'm the British one. Also she, her.
And we have a guest with us again.
You couldn't get rid of me. Not even sealing me in the Thomas Vault could stop me. I'm Andrew. I don't remember what bitch I thought I was gonna be this week. I had an idea like an hour ago, went right out of my head as I was making tea. But I go by they them.
And today, we're talking about a story in James the Red Engine. The same story, probably. Given what the TV series did.
We're caught in a space-time trap.
We all just come in like having done research on a different story each, and we're just completely out of sync.
I can finally explain why Thomasaurus Rex is the greatest piece of Thomas literature ever written.
Well, for starters, it's the definitive depiction of the fat controller.
Yeah.
Like-
As London Paperboy.
Yeah. Like, you know, when people think of Sir Topham Hatt, they obviously think of his time as Little Topham Hatt and his budding friendship with Stepney.
Welcome to the
the
Thomasaurus Rex Book Club, where we only talk about Thomasaurus Rex.
Well, it's a book. It's a book. I feel like it fit our criteria.
Yeah.
It ticks all the boxes. All one box.
When are we-
being a book.
When are we gonna
Jobs are
do-
good and-
When are we gonna do Diesel's Head Means Trouble and it just leads to like a fucking like in-depth like talk on the like original like productions of Magic Railroad words?
When are we gonna do like a double feature where we compare and contrast Thomas and the Evil Diesel versus its superior counterpart, Thomas and the Naughty Diesel?
Oh,
Train Doctor.
that one's pretty good.
I'm still so
I mean,
bad.
we do. I do have Thomas and the Evil Diesel on our like list of things that we will get around
Yes.
to doing. So
And I
maybe
do have my copy of Thomas and the Naughty Diesel conveniently very close to me in my room.
As every self-respecting person does.
Of course.
Is it bad? I'm so badly hoping in the reboot they have Victor be called the Train Doctor, and he just has like a fucking stethoscope on him.
See, that would be a delightful callback, which, for the reboot, would be a very fresh breath of air.
No, it's like, I'm not even expecting them to do it as a callback. It just seems like Train Doctor is something they would write into that.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
my friend. I hear you have trained tonsillitis.
But then
No, let
feel
me
like
see
us
your
thinking-
organs.
Let me get a look at your train organs, my friend.
God.
We should really start our story.
We should. This is James and the Bootlace.
Just one.
It is the first time I shall be gifting all of you a tale of whimsy.
Yeah.
So you're all gifted with her beautiful voice.
Mary, hush your mouth.
No.
Gay people.
Well, fuck. What am I gonna do?
I mean, here's the thing. I could, but, like, does that mean, like, I'm not, like, commentating on this episode? Like I could go back to playing Budokai 3, I guess?
Is there anything of particular note in this story, it's like, beforehand that we should get into, or should we just fucking get into it?
I think the most interesting thing about the story is that the TV series made it into, like, the second half of the adaptation of the previous story, but I don't feel like that's interesting enough to put off getting into the story, so...
Right.
Let's get going.
Right. Okay. Next morning, the Fat Controller spoke severely to James. If you can't behave, I shall take away your red coat and have you painted blue. James did not like that at all, and he was very rough with the coaches as he brought them to the platform. Come on, he called rudely. All in good time, the coaches grumbled. Don't talk, come on, answered James, and with the coaches squealing and grumbling after him, he snorted into the station.
This opening is so jarring.
Yeah, like, it starts immediately off the heels of the previous episode, and, like you can see why they, like, married the story up to the previous one, because this, like, just starting the story like this is very jarring and weird.
Yeah. I think the story works better as a second half to James on the Top Hat.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a thing of, like, the publisher's going, hey, by the way, we need 4 stories, and the Rev just sort of going, oh, I wrote this. Let me just...
Cut it in half.
grabs knife to chop it in half.
Let me...
He takes the knife to chop it in half and then adds, like, you know, enough bits onto it to make them, like, long enough to be 2 stories.
Audrey's just like, well, I need to have a 4th story. Let us send the first story through the Tunnel of Terror from Terror Tales from Titmuth.
God. And then I defeated the monster. Speaking of Gordon, which we'll get to that more on the next page, but, like, I feel like they could have made it work as, like, 2 separate stories, but, like, I feel like the Fat Controller, like, chewing him out kinda should have been the ending of the last story, and then,
Yeah.
it starts with James, like, pissed off the next morning about it.
Yeah, that would make
I
more
can
sense.
see that. I can see that.
They could have even started with something like, James was still cross about being told off yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I just like maybe I just like the last line of the story being. He was a little afraid of what the Fat Controller would say about the top hat.
Oh yeah, no, that's great.
like how I was saying last time, like fucking father reading it to his kid, like, what happens after that? You're gonna find out tomorrow. That's shit.
Do you know what the
Fuck
best
you.
part is? He doesn't even mention the top hat. We never figure out what he says
never
about
does.
the top hat. Even in the TV series, he does.
I mean, I guess we can infer that's why he's mad, on top of, like, the other weird shit James did last time, but, like...
Like, laughing at someone's granny, okay, fucking...
No, the Fat Controller does not... The Fat Controller does not agree with harassment of the elderly. Unless he's involved, in which case it's funny.
Funny fat man fall compilation.
This is a very small thing. This illustration is pretty evidently the basis for James's angry face.
Oh yeah,
The
Yeah.
source of my nightmares.
absolutely. And going back to something Jamie brought up last time, how like a lot of the compositions and blocking were basically just copied from the last book. This seems to be an illustration from Thomas and Gordon, where
Yeah,
Thomas is,
I
like,
think
backing into
so.
the station with the coaches and such. Because like
Yeah, I think I made a note of that last time. I don't know why I didn't copy that in here.
Damn.
yeah, because like the brake coach is like still like 80% of the frame, and
Yeah,
honestly,
it's
I
like-
think Payne did it a bit better.
Yeah. Pain doing it better is kind of a trend in these
I
early
miss
books.
Pain.
This book is
Oh, yeah,
definitely
I do
the
too.
worst of Dalby's work, probably.
Well, it's his first time.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's to be expected that it's a little bit rough around the edges.
You
You
know
know,
what they
it's-
say, first is the worst.
And that's why no one likes Thomas.
Yeah!
Um,
live without me.
I'm just imagining like one of the the crews like when they're firing the Farquhar gang up and then they're talking about like something like, oh well, you know what they say, first the worst. Trust me, we know. We work with Thomas every day.
You little fucks. That was more of a James voice than Thomas.
you know, I am of two minds about the whole painted blue thing. You know, on the one hand, you know, the Fat Controller should probably, like, you know that negative reinforcement is a scam, but also, you know, that's probably all I'd have to say about it if Engine of Many Colors didn't exist, which is, I hesitate to say the best Big World Big Adventures episode because there's a bunch of other really good ones Michael White did, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
you know,
really like
it's-
Engine of Many Colors.
It's no Free the Roads.
Or I don't know. I personally I really like the missing truck one more than Free
Oh, yeah.
Free the Roads.
My favorite Big World episodes are Hunt the Truck and the Great Little Railway Show.
I'm,
Oh yeah.
Same here. But,
I'm-
I mean, I don't know. I maybe... I do really like Hunt the Truck. I love the story. I love that it's a Bill and Ben story with things happening, and Edward is there as well, and he's like
Yeah.
3 steps ahead of them. But also, I don't think I've gotten over losing Jonathan Broadbent as Bill and Ben.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm the local lacking a frontal lobe and actually enjoys, like, a lot from the Big World era. But,
Were you the victim of the bite of '87?
yeah, according to, I don't even remember who it was that tweeted that anyone that enjoys the Big World era is clearly lacking a frontal lobe, but I remember that happened. But, like, honestly, like, my favorite episodes, I don't know if it would actually be a white one. Because I'm weird. My favorites are probably Samson and the Fireworks, just because, like, I
That one's
like
alright.
Samson, and, like, I really wanted an episode of, like, him and Bradford, and, like, I think it's fun, and also I like Fireworks. And, fucking Diesel Do Right, just because it's really stupid, but I enjoy it.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I like that one a lot. I completely forgot that happened. I really quite liked it.
Diesel and Friends make one thing. Sure.
It has so many things I enjoy. That's a Davy Moore one, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah, okay, Davy Moore. Yeah,
I-
yeah. Fucking
Davey
Terrence
Moore
turns
is a
up for a
gift
second.
we didn't deserve.
Diesel just does the intro, but himself.
I love
That's all I need to be entertained.
Yeah.
I'm there. Hello.
I have a soft spot for Gordon Gets the Giggles. Like, objectively, it's kind of a bad episode, but it's also, like, it's funny
fun.
in... It's funny in a way that, like, just... It's bewildering.
Yeah.
It's like a guilty pleasure kind of episode.
And the ending of the story is just like the guy and the coach being like, "Can we go home now?"
Like that. No.
Like I said last time, I just like fucking Gordon Gets the Giggles because it's just Keith Wickham trying not to lose his shit.
Yeah.
I
I also have a soft spot for the Pack episodes that Michael
Yeah.
White wrote. Like, you
I
know,
haven't seen those actually.
They're really good.
yeah, Deep Trouble is really good. I feel like most people didn't really. I don't think people talk about Out of Sight, which was the one about Brenda, because people hate Brenda for not being Byron. But that one's pretty good too.
And I mean, they actually give her like a personality, which I feel like Byron never really had.
Yeah, I feel like that part of that can be attributed to like the fact that his other episodes never got made.
Yeah, true.
But I feel like Brenda's flaws are a lot more interesting than what Byron would have been.
Brenda's post-transition Byron.
Yes.
We stan a
We
transgender
stan.
bulldozer queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Killdozer.
Oh, have you seen that edit someone did?
Yeah.
Just fucking Brenda as the Killdozer.
I don't think
Killdozer is very good.
Also, since we're
Right.
talking about
Fucking
Big
love
World,
Killdozer.
just one more thing. Fucking another episode I like from it is Lorenzo's solo, just because it's incredibly gay.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I watched that one on a stream I was taking part in. I think as part of like Pride Month or something last year, and that was it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Not the most healthy relationships that Lorenzo
Yeah.
and Baby have, but you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they work
You know,
it out.
they happy to see gay icons. They should go to therapy.
Yeah.
which is how I felt at the end of Utna.
Speaking of therapy, we're gonna need it once we get through this story, which we could properly continue.
Yeah. This is a pretty good tangent. The one other thing, actually that might be better for next page, but like, James just like bumping the coaches like that is very like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
He comes to school and starts beating the shit out of people with a skateboard. Do what the fuck it.
I'm the top bench around here.
I just want to skateboard.
Hey, check out what I got.
Gordon told me to come in and beat up the biggest person I saw.
It's just like that one video. It's like, Gordon, let me see what you have. A knife.
No. See, you're going for the knife video. I was more thinking along the lines of Sharkeisha.
I don't know what that is, but great. James was cross that morning. The vet controller had spoken to him, the coaches had dawdled, and, worst of all, he'd had to fetch his own coaches. Gordon never does, thought James, and he is only painted blue. A splendid red engine like me should never have to fetch his own coaches. And he puffed and snorted round to the front of the train, and backed onto it with a rude bump. Ooh, groaned the coaches. That was too bad.
That's too bad.
So bad.
God, that reminds me of like in a Victor Tanzig production when they'll say too right.
Oh my god.
Too right. Those Germans
Too
had it
right.
coming.
Too right. I do think we should have blown up that hospital.
Too right. I
Anyway.
think we should have let them starve of scurvy.
So off the topic of war crimes,
And onto the topic of bore crimes.
I was gonna say, I alluded to this on the last page, but Gordon and James haven't even interacted by this point, and I know that comes in the next story, but I really would have liked a scene of James is very obviously just in a James mood, essentially. He hates everything, and
His
then
first James mood.
yeah. our little boy's growing up. But then, I feel like they should have, like, they could have, they missed an opportunity for a scene where just Gordon sees all of this and is like, I'm gonna make this shit worse. And he's just like, he sees James shunting, he's like, oh, I never have to shunt my coaches.
Yeah.
I'm going to cause problems on purpose.
Exactly. And in the distance, Edward's like, yes, you do.
I think it's very understandable that the passengers don't want to be around James during his shit fit.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Like, he's fucking, like, he's abusing his coaches and, like, making so much fucking noise. Like, of course they don't want to be around him. It's not cause you're red, it's because you're an asshole.
And they just see, like, the engine having, like, a fucking fit, and it's like, yeah, let's just stay over by the ticket booth, hope it's not ours.
Do they even say that the passengers don't want to be around James in the book?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It might be the next page, or...
It is. Because it's on... I can only assume this because it's on the same page as everything else in Complete Collection, but Liv hasn't read it yet. So... yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because the next page is like, all the passengers are, like, way up against the wall.
Well, I guess there really is just nothing to say for this
This
page.
is a very nothing story.
I mean, I think on the last page, I did think that it was kind of like, probably a fruitless effort of the Fat Controller to be like, okay, if you don't behave, we'll make you blue. Because, like, negative reinforcement doesn't really work. But, like, maybe he wasn't incorrect, given the whole, like, red paint thing has kind of made him a bit more self-obsessed and vain.
Yeah.
This
The
is the
world
thing.
of
I
duality.
feel like James was just like, the color red. This is my personality now.
I feel like James always wanted to be hot shit, but, like, he was never able to feel like hot shit. But so, like, once they finally fixed his, like, literal hot breaks, because fire, poon, ends, like, he got, like, very, like, standout paint. He was just like, you have no idea the chaos you've unleashed.
Yeah.
Also,
They removed his inhibitor rings.
Exactly.
this is a very small thing. Tidmouth Station is way smaller here than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I think that's probably just Dalbyism.
Smaller
Yeah.
than
You can't-
Knapford Station.
You can see the beach, though, so, like, I guess even this early on, Tidmouth was like a coastal town.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's legitimately all I have to say about this page, because kind of nothing happens.
Yeah, I think we can probably move on.
Right.
Yeah.
To make James even more cross, he then had to take the coaches to a different platform, where no one came near him as he stood there. The Fat Controller was in his office, the station master was at the other end of the train with the guard, and even the little boy stood a long way off. James felt lonely. I'll show them, he said to himself. They think Gordon is the only engine who can pull coaches. And as soon as the guard's whistle blew, he started off with a tremendous jerk.
Boy, I sure hope that doesn't have any negative consequences.
I love having a tremendous jerk, personally.
Oh my god. The worst thing is, I absolutely knew that was coming.
I mean, yeah, typically
zerking off?
typically that does happen
Oh
after
my
a
God.
tremendous jerk.
You zerking off tremendously? What the...
Anyway, this is kind of going off what we talked about when we thought we were talking about this page, but, like, I do like that James is like, oh, they think Gordon's the only engine who can pull coaches, when it's like, no, everyone's like, staying away from you out of fear of, like, getting killed in anger.
Yeah, there's also a little bit of what you were talking about earlier, Mari, about, like, James hasn't even met Gordon yet. At least not that we've seen. So I just feel like James is jumping to all of these assumptions about Gordon, and, like, the first time they'll actually meet, Gordon's just gonna be like, oh, hello, who are you? And James is gonna be like, "You think you're better than me because you're blue." And Gordon's just
I honestly would have liked that so much better as a story, is just, like, James immediately assuming Gordon's, like, a huge dick, and not exactly being wrong, but, like, he, like, goes through all the shit, like, makes an idiot of himself, and then, like, Gordon's, like, basically has a reason to laugh at him.
yeah. Like,
he gives him a reason to think he's better than him.
like, James wouldn't be wrong for thinking Gordon's, like, a dick, because he is, but, like, he's just, like, automatically jumping to this conclusion and basically just creating a self-fulfilling prophecy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's never fucking met Gordon, but he's just assuming that Gordon has never had to do this thing, so he's just fucking projecting onto, like, someone he doesn't even fucking know, and I think that's hilarious.
God, I fucking hate this man I've never met.
Look, no offense, but not no offense, but like, this is honestly making me dislike this story more, just because there's such a good concept here that, like, absolutely wasn't intentional. Like, I feel like that's absolutely a James plot, and, like,
Yeah.
it'd be a really fun one, especially to establish, like, James and Gordon as a dynamic.
You know, it reminds me a lot of Fastest Red Engine on Sodor, where James just hears about Rosie and is like, "Are you trying to step foot in my chef?"
Yeah! It's just like, what? No!
What the fuck are you doing, you miserable bitch?
I just said hello, you idiot!
What do you think you're doing? Back off, cunt!
I'll talk about it at some point, but I actually really like the kind of arc. Like, if you ignore Apology Impossible, which is terrible, like, I kind of like the arc James has between, like, 21 and, like, 22, because it's, like...
He has an arc?
Kinda, because it's, like, he fucks up royally in Fastest Red Engine.
Oh,
has an
right.
episode where he reflects on that, and then afterwards,
I just entirely fucking forgot Engine of Many Colors right after we praised it. I'm so fucking stupid.
Apology Impossible kind of botches it, because that episode is terrible. But, like, outside of that, there isn't a James is, like, a dick or, like, does something stupid and, like, gets himself into trouble plot. They make a joke in Marvelous Machinery, which is probably the best part of the special by far, where James is the only one who actually gets his job done with no issues, and he just looks just as surprised about it as the controller. And it's like, I like it as, like, an arc. It's fun.
I like the fact that seemingly not even James is aware he's gone through an arc.
Yeah.
It's just been another day.
He gets to, like, the Earl, he gets to, like, the estate with his stuff, and the Fat Controller's like, "James, where's everybody else?" Well, I'm here.
I'm not late, right?
Aren't I enough?
Aren't I enough?
So do with that what you will, I suppose.
So, I think what might have happened is maybe, like, Apology Impossible was originally supposed to be in 21, but then, like, all the stuff that happened with 21 kind of forced it into the later season.
I can see that.
Definitely. Same with stuff like Seeing is Believing. And,
Seeing is Believing. I think somebody made a good case for Puzzling Parts being, like, coming off of the heels of Springtime for Diesel.
Yeah, and I could see Samson and the Fireworks definitely being a 21 episode, because it kind of, like, follows off of Bradford.
Yeah, all the, like, all those episodes are just, like, the only, like, real change you'd have to make is just the presence of Nia and Rebecca, which, you know, if they were originally season 21 episodes, those roles were probably filled by other engines anyway.
And especially because a lot of them, like, their fantasy sequences are very short, too. Like, I know fucking, Samson and the Fireworks, despite the fact they used like that like bit of like Thomas and the as like the rocket in like a shit ton of the marketing, it's like 5 seconds long, and you could remove it from the scene and like literally nothing, not even the pacing changes, because it's just like
Yeah.
Thomas making firework noises and scaring Samson.
Yeah. And, like, the only one where I feel like the imagination sequence is kind of, like, load-bearing to an extent would be the one with, seeing is believing. But honestly,
Yeah.
that's one of the better sequences, I think, just because
Yeah.
Percy's idea of what Merlin is funny.
Yeah. God,
Oh,
that
yeah.
episode could have been so good.
That's grand.
I like that we've spent more time talking about... Like, I'm happy with it, because I like talking about the stuff I like in the Big World era, but I like that we spent more time talking about that than I think this actual story.
Yeah, probably.
There's good stuff in the Big World era. Like, there's a lot of issues, but, like, some of it is worth giving a chance, I promise. Anyway,
Disregard her. She does not have the uniform opinion.
Yeah.
shut up!
Right, I love you.
I love you.
Add it to the counter.
Who told you that? That Daisel, named Daisel.
This is the thing.
Is that
Me
a
and Mary
joke in
watched
an
that episode
episode?
for the first time. Yeah, it's from Sunny Second Chance.
Oh yeah, no, I
Oh.
haven't seen that one. I haven't.
Me and Mary watched that episode for the first time together, and we both loved that joke. And then the scene where Percy just says, "I really don't understand you sometimes, Diesel."
Nobody does. I both love and hate that episode became the meme it did, because it's legitimately a really good episode. And, like, honestly, the fact of what it's associated with is, like, funny, but, like, it's also kind of a shame, because, like, it is, like, legitimately good and, like, has a good moral and stuff that's not just,
Yeah.
like... Well, you see,
Excusing-
I may have caused international war crimes, but have you seen the season 24 episode of Thomas and Friends, Sunny's Second Chance?
Well, see, Wilbert Audrey back in 1948 said, "Now I know this book isn't quite as good as the previous one, but if you give me the chance to make another book, I think you'll find that I will do very well with my Sunny Second Chance."
and then Eric Marriott just goes, Wilbert, what the fuck is a Sunny Second Chance?
You will see in
Oh, what-
70 years.
time, you will see.
Yes, in time, Eric dear, in time. Now
Pats
I must
his
go.
nose.
I have brooding to do.
He just, like, T-pose floats back into his, like, study.
As he does, he makes the fucking what's it? I forgot the name of the song. God damn it. The one with the sound that goes "Wah!" Sicko mode. Sicko mode.
I think
Here's the
it's
thing,
called
right?
Sicko Mode.
Wilbur, whenever he like puffs on his pipe, starts floating in the air, and then just starts like levitating towards his study.
You see, it's not actually a
The-
pipe, it's his ascension tool.
Yeah, the secret's hidden within the Reverend's pipe.
Exactly. That's gonna be the next documentary.
Now, I'm sure you are looking forward to what would happen if I smoked the Rev's pipe. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I don't have the same strand of tobacco we use.
And even if I did, I am merely mortal.
I don't think I'd be able to handle that level of power, so genuinely, I'm sorry I can't do this. I should have made him sound more northern.
I imagine Audrey with the pipe is at least as powerful as Edward.
That you're
Okay.
making a bold claim there.
Where do you think Edward gets his power from?
A very interesting point.
This is the thing, right? Audrey was also a time traveler, so he had it set that when he passed away, all of his power would be transferred to his first ever character ever created back in 1942.
I thought you were gonna say his firstborn son, Edward.
Yeah, no, this is the thing, right? Christopher was actually born as a train, and his name was Edward.
Reverse biofusion. It all comes full cube.
Oh no. I
Serious?
think we've gone
This-
off track.
Okay, but that was a great one though.
Can I say
Yeah.
one thing before we get back on track?
Yeah.
We probably mentioned it last episode. I don't actually remember. But if you haven't seen it, watch Midsummer Mysteries because it's really well done. And if you're
Oh, it's-
watching
it's
this, you'll
amazing.
absolutely
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Very good.
Please watch Midsummer Mysteries.
I think it is very cool that there is now, like, a new... Like, essentially a new piece of, like, ancillary material for the Railway series, technically, since it's all based on the official materials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
It's really cool. Go watch it.
My absolute favorite part of watching it was just when we got to the part with Stanley's model, and Mari just went, "Of course."
you know, it was just like when like he was like, oh, like it like derailed a lot, and I was just like. It wasn't even like a negative thing. It was just like I should have known it was based on something. I should know that by now to expect that.
And then Wilbur Audrey just like wills himself into being in your room. You shouldn't have underestimated me, Marina.
That's gonna be how I die.
No,
then-
he just
And
turns
then-
up. He just turns up. He makes the fucking Half-Life teleport sound and goes, "Mari, you're having a shocker."
And this is the thing, right? What he does is like he says that, and then he raises up his hands and he says he does like a fucking Kamehameha, and then he like after Mari has been disintegrated, he dabs and returns to the afterlife.
So instead of like a key blast, it just shoots model like a giant like model of like Edward or something.
Well, he just shoots Gordon at you.
That's why Gordon was made so late. He needed to be prepared.
No, that's why we don't know where Gordon is.
Oh, true. I forgot we don't.
Yeah.
This is the thing, Andrew. Do you mean the Gordon model, or
Yeah, I
the
mean the
joke
Gordon
we had
model.
in episode 2, where we don't know where the kid who Gordon was named after is?
I thought you meant like.
My intent was the Gordon model, but honestly, the child named Gordon is just a little bit funnier. Like I saw some art I think last night on Twitter of someone redrawing a very a very sad Dragon Ball scene where Ralph Wiggum blasts straight through fucking I think Piccolo's torso.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's Goku going through like Kid Goku like killing King Piccolo, but it's just
Okay.
fucking Ralph Wiggum like T-posing through him.
He's not even T-posing, just completely fucking neutral stance, like when he gets thrown through a window. Like that's what the Rev fucking hurls at you.
God.
We should probably continue the story.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was a story.
Sam.
I thought
Okay,
this was just
do
a
we have-
regular call.
I
What the fuck is happening to me today? I really like the little bit of continuity to James in the top hyphen hat, where the Rev does just mention everyone who came near James last time, and how they just don't want to bother this week.
Don't take that one. We'll be late for work. Just take the next one.
Like the kids are like waiting for their train because like maybe they go to school in like a different city or something, and
Yeah.
then James comes backing down and they're like, "Oh, all right, it's the little red one."
They're just
Well, would you
before they
would
go
you,
to
would
school.
you would you rather Mike, would you rather die or would you rather be at school late?
Mood.
Well, if it means not being to school at all, then,
I'm gonna go with the
fuck,
option with the
Fuck!
train.
I completely forgot. There was an interesting thing on the last page, and I'm just looking at the illustration now. It's the day. Well, it probably showed up in like one or two illustrations before, and I just forgot. But in the last page, James has his. It's the debut of his black lipstick.
Oh yes! Yes!
Like, look at that! It's so wonderful.
James
We
has
need to bring
always
back the
slayed.
black lipstick as a trend.
I will say I formally apologize to every single viewer who was disappointed that we didn't bring it up.
Especially the one who literally put black lipstick on their model of James.
Wait, someone did that?
Yeah, oh, yeah, me.
Well, that was
I did.
you!
Oh yeah, duh. That was amazing.
I gave him black lipstick and a septum piercing.
I assume like it was just like a 12-year-old who just got like a pen and just drew black lipstick on like their wooden railway James.
That'd be funny, I think.
We start a new movement instead of like painting.
You're going to look fucking fabulous.
Instead of painting the running board white, it's like just like drawing like black lipstick onto James.
Yes! It's
I'm
canon.
all for that.
Yes, it needs to be a thing. Like it's canon. Don't you want to be accurate to the Railway series?
Exactly.
Like having black lipstick is on the same level as having a Westinghouse pump. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Exactly what I was gonna say. You know, I think the time has more than passed to just have Westinghouse pumps be a sign of Railway series accuracy. The only way to really go for that is to use black lipstick. Just give all of them black lipstick.
What if the
Yes.
real Westinghouse was the black lipsticks we drew along the way?
Mari, that was terrible, but I thank you for trying.
Here's the thing, I knew it was, like, terrible, like, right as I started saying it, and that just motivated me more to go through with it. Fucking fake it till you make it, baby.
Right, have we got anything else for this page?
The way this page is the way the page is blocked makes it really hard for the like graphics to look good, because basically all of the detail is positioned in such a way that I can't show all of it well.
I guess that's kind of the limitation of our format.
More like a limitation of the graphics I have. At some point, I might redo these, and like, at some point I might like change the way we do the graphics for the episodes, but not today.
Hey everybody, if you want to do the Art for Railway Series book club, we'll pay you in exactly 4 exposure.
God.
Oh my god! Sign me up!
God.
Do we want to move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Come on, he puffed, and the coaches, squeaking and groaning in protest, clattered over the points onto the open line. Hurry, puffed James. You're going too fast, said the coaches, and indeed, they were going so fast that they swayed from side to side. James laughed and tried to go faster, but the coaches wouldn't let him. We're going to stop, they said, and James found himself going slower and slower.
I love this illustration.
Yeah, no, it's a nice illustration.
He's just going fucking a million miles an hour.
You can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Like,
I have one very important note about this page.
What's that?
In between, like when you're like getting ready to read this page and when you started, I may have bought a Take and Play B James on Amazon, on eBay.
Welcome to my relationship, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. Please don't break up with me.
You know, no, Mari, I told Mary, I told you that if you ever brought another B. James into this house, then it would be over. And
You
what
s-
have you done? You've disobeyed me again,
You
woman.
said you wouldn't want another HOB, James, which I haven't done.
Don't you mince my
Yet.
words, you miserable fool. You've disrespected me for the last time.
Damn, we'll have to go to couples therapy with Lorenzo and Pepe.
I thought the joke was gonna be we gotta go to couples therapy with busy BJ.
Oh, I thought that was
He's the
implied.
counselor. He's the counselor.
How have we gotten this far without, like, talking as much as we have about Busy B. James?
I've mentioned it a few times on the podcast.
And yeah,
there,
he's married.
there was an entire
he's
conversation
married.
about busy BJ last time, I think.
He's married
yeah,
with
there
pride
was.
and
Never
joy,
mind.
and as we've established, she loves Busy B. James more than she loves me.
No, that's a lie. I love you more than anything.
Fruit.
Mari, you gotta play into the bit.
I'm not playing into the bit if it implies that I don't love you.
Aw.
Oh, that's sweet. Anyway, busy B. James.
And, the really important thing.
Listen, alright, relationships all good, but it's no busy B. James at the end of the day, alright?
That's what the relationship counselor says.
Yeah.
Only Busy B. James has no end.
Yeah.
Girlfriend, that has end.
Say?
Girlfriend does have end.
So does anyone have anything to say about this page?
I like the illustration a lot, and like the way that the coach is swaying backwards and forwards is displayed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like how you can kind of see the like little air whooshing out between the first and second coach, and I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
supposed to represent the little brake pipe leaking.
Oh,
It's like,
shit.
The thing is, like, from what it looks like, every single coach is like swaying except for the front coach. So I guess that's why the brake pipe burst.
Well, that, and no, let's save that line for later. I love James's face. He looks so fucking. He's fucking in the zone.
Yeah.
Need for
I'm a
speed.
maniac and I'm proud of it.
I killed so many people, but I had a banger of a nap afterwards.
Is that what he's calling it now? Alright then.
Is that Dan?
No.
I thought
Is
that was
that-
Edward.
As
Yeah,
Dan,
it was Edward.
as Dan, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Featuring Andrew as Dan as Edward. Three layers
that's
of
your
acting. None of them can actually be considered acting.
I believe the correct word is kinning.
Oh no.
So, I think we should move on. So, with the idea that I kin my own friend, let's go on to the next page.
Let's go on to the next page.
Jesus Christ.
Let's
Alright,
move
Move
on.
on, Mary.
James doesn't have any lining at all in this illustration.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
He didn't in the
Oh,
last
yeah.
one either. Oh, no, he had the...
No, he did.
Oh, yeah, I
Like,
just...
the cabin tender lining is gone.
Oh,
looks peeled.
yeah, I'm done.
Freshly peeled James.
I hate that.
Fresh.
This is him, and this is them stripping off the paint so they can paint him up like a bee.
Yeah, that's why he's so excited.
So
He's on his way to get painted up like a bee.
I'm gonna be the one to say it. So in the green controller, was James being forcibly painted like a bee the engine equivalent of force femming?
No, that
No.
was...
Liv, I want you to know that my most impulsive urge just now, the first thing that, like, really just hit my brain as those words were being processed in my head was, I'm gonna get up I'm going to take a long walk.
Yeah. Oh. I'm glad that even if indirectly the joke got a big reaction. So did you like the joke?
In 2020, you will be forced to wear this mask. In 2021, you will be forced to be Busy Bee James. God damn it!
Biden's cat girl army coming out to convert everyone into Busy Bee James.
Yeah, the gay agenda isn't actually to make everybody gay or trans, it's just to make everybody into Busy Bee James.
Yeah.
What's the matter? James asked his driver. The brakes are hard on. Leak in the pipe, most likely. You banged the coaches hard enough to make a leak in anything. The guard and the driver got down and looked at the brake pipes all along the train. At last, they found a hole where rough treatment had made a joint work loose. How shall we mend it? Asked the guard. James's driver thought for a moment. We'll do it with newspaper and a leather bootlace.
Okay, so...
He banged the coaches hard enough to make a leak in anything.
Oh god. Okay, so off of...
So that's something, that's something me and
banged your
James kind
brain
of relate on.
Oh god. Okay, so off of this page, there's one thing that I realized when going through, like, this story and, like, the episode in preparation for this. What's the matter is James's last line in the story. In both versions. He doesn't say anything once they start actually going through the plan. He has a 1 second, like, image where you see him with his sad face after they say they're going to use a bootlace in the TV series, which is better than the book where he literally has no reaction to this. And I didn't realize that was a thing.
I guess, to be fair, it is only 2 pages.
Still, though, it's like... James just kind of stops mattering in the story.
This is true.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like there's a lot he can do, given his situation.
The really sad thing about it is, the second that James stops being important to the story is the second the story starts becoming interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's genuinely upsetting.
Yeah. This illustration is a little bit strange, I think. But I do like how the people and the coaches look.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say, I always really liked this illustration just because I really liked how up close we got to the coaches.
Yeah.
It's cool.
You know, I don't think they're scaled quite right, but that, you know, that...
I mean,
this is
Jesus is a
Dolby,
small
not
guy.
everything's perfect.
Yeah. Like, literally, the shapes of the coaches change between the fucking illustrations. How the fuck do you do that? I mean, yes, I'm not perfect, alright? As railway artistry goes, I am not perfect.
But you are a perfect
I get
friend.
things vague approximation. No. I get a vague approximation of how a thing looks each time, and maybe sometimes it looks alike. But how the fuck do you do that, dude? Goddamn.
Talby's hitting really hard for his first book.
If by hitting you mean hitting me square in the jugular, then yes.
What's
And
a
if
joke?
by hitting you mean banging the coaches enough to make a leak in anything,
With a tremendous jerk.
These edibles ain't shit. And then you just You just fucking turn into James.
This is our commentary on the page where we said we would have more to talk about.
The news. I do have a thing to talk about. Fuck. I really like the newspaper and bootlace solution because that is like one of the ways in real life that people use to fix this issue. It's very cool. Like,
That's
you know,
cool.
the way the way these breaks work is, you know, if there's a hole in it, like if like cuz it's a vacuum. If any air is let into the vacuum, that means that the brakes are compromised, so they automatically come on. So in order to fix it, you have to seal up wherever the hole is. And you can do that by just tying a piece of paper around it. And I think that that's very clever, and it's a real thing they did on the railways. You know, it's one of the cool things about Thomas is that it pulls from real railway practices. Because, like, you know, reality is stranger than fiction sometimes.
What I like about it is how it doesn't really play off, you know, yes, standard company procedure. Like, get like official documents from the LMS saying, hey, by the way, if this happens, don't forget to do this. No. This was just someone going, you know, if we used newspaper, it could work. Okay. And I just think that adds like a really like nicely personal level to the stories that are told.
Yeah, it's natural.
See, this is the thing, right? The driver actually had another option of how to fix this. He just really fucking doesn't like Jeremiah Jobling.
This is all done out of spite.
He's just like, oh, thank fuck, I hate him, and I could fuck up his shoes.
Fucking hate this cunt.
That's where James learned it from. I
think you might be a bad influence.
Now what the fuck makes you say that? He says with a cigarette in his mouth.
It reminds me of why I don't like it when certain Railway series stories will be like, wow, this is a very strange event that's happened, and then some character in the story will be like, yes, I heard about this thing that happened in X location that is exactly the same. Like, I'm not a fan of when the stories, like, directly reference an incident.
It's okay, you can say Christopher Audrey.
Great Western Line, 1946.
I mean, Christopher Audrey does that a lot, but, I was actually thinking, like, I think in Leaves, yeah, they mentioned the story that it's based on, and it's like, yeah, it's a little strange.
Well, I think that might just be a thing of like, it's a little more common, or Leaves specifically, like
yeah,
that feels like something that would probably happen often.
Yeah, like it's just I feel like this scene might be a bit like the personal touch of the scene might be a little bit lessened if it were like if the driver was like, oh man, whatever will we do, and the fireman's just like, I read about a story like this happening in this issue of a railway magazine.
God. Oh god,
well,
I can see it
that rate,
written that way.
At that rate, you'd just be making a fan story.
I wasn't gonna say it, but thank you for saying what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It'd just be stories of Sodor at that point.
No, they would be referencing an event that happened in the communist, like, uprising or something.
Mm.
How about we do this thing like the Irish did during the Easter Rising?
Milkshake.
What? Like the channel?
See, my first thought with the word milkshake was like the TV channel that Thomas airs on in the UK.
Yeah, they explained what that was in an episode of Stories of Sodor. And it, like...
What?
Yeah, like, it was, like, a thing that they did on a railway that this one engine in the story came from, where like they had a water shortage, so they used milk to put out fires, like milk from railway tankers. And he did that in the episode, and the fire train
that
was like,
one.
"Hey, wow, that was a really cool milkshake you did." And they just went through the explaining the history of what that was.
Stories of Sodar.
Honestly, literally all they had to do there was just say, "Yeah, we did these where I came from."
Or maybe not even that. It could just be like, well, I didn't have any water on hand, so I thought this would help.
Stories of Sodar Diagnosis and the episode of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the live-action series where Sailor Venus dies of...
Metal fatigue?
They not cancer, have the exact same plot and structure, and that's not even a joke, even down to the gay subtext. Though one is
God.
like
What joke was I just gonna make? Oh god damn
good
it.
and one's not.
That
It's
Sailor
gonna be a
Moon
really
thing.
good joke.
That Sailor Moon thing probably didn't have its super dense narration told at 1,000 miles a minute.
Yeah, no, it was actually good. although them cutting, like when fucking it cut at one point, it cut. This is very off topic, but the best part of the whole thing is when it cuts from like Ray or like Sailor Mars like holding like a note from like Minako that like she wrote to them and like crying. And then it cuts to fucking Artemis, who in the show is like a cat plush, and there's just a tear taped on.
That's like the Sailor Moon equivalent of cutting to Train's Tony Blair man.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah! It pretty much fucking is. Like, Trey's Tony Blair man saying, "Your wife has died in the fucking hospital." Other
These are
Tony
the
Blair man.
stories of Sodor.
Oh my goodness! Fuck,
Okay,
that was
wait,
a really
Mari.
good-
Mari, I may be wrong, but I think you said that like every episode of Sailor Moon she does like a speech. What if at the end of the speech she just says, "And these are the stories of Sodor"?
And in the name of the moon, these are the stories of Sodor.
Instead of Sailor
And in the
Moon,
name of the
instead of
moon-
doing like
Fuck, what's it? All aboard
In the
for a
name
big
of the
adventure.
moon, in the name of the moon, fuck Germany and every damn person.
Oh god.
See, I'm thinking that she like instead of doing her normal speech, when she starts doing her transformation sequence, she just starts doing the tugs opening. But badly
it's just, like,
changed so it can be about the
Rainforest
Sailor Scouts.
eyes.
It's just like really out of tune, and she's just like making the sounds of her mouth, just like.
Oh.
The magical girl, for its type.
Oh god.
Is the most powerful girl afloat? What?
That basically sounds as natural as any fucking adaptation of the Tugs intro does.
And the Sailor Scouts
Can
are
I
the
like
powers
write a
behind
novel?
the moon?
Yeah, the Moon Kingdom question mark. Or, like,
These
Neo-Tokyo
are the
or
stories
something.
of the Moon Kingdom. Do.
This
This
Can
is
I,
a bad bit. Can we
make
move on?
fucking The most powerful girl afloat, like the title of a novel I write or something.
Please do.
I think that's quite
Yes.
good.
Honestly,
It's just about like a buff as shit fisherman lady.
Yes.
it would.
Yes, actually.
I was gonna say.
Hell yeah.
Fucking like Sailor Moon show with like the fucking not Tugs intro would probably still be better than Sailor Moon Crystal. Okay, shall we move on?
Well, I'd probably still try to try and do what Ikuhara did with S, but like not as good because it would just be
It doesn't have his
tracing the
power.
visuals.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I meant to say earlier when Jamie said milkshake and I clapped. My first thought was milkshake the channel, and then my second thought was the milkshake as a political movement.
Oh,
that
I don't know what that
happened,
is.
what?
You don't. You didn't hear about when, like, fucking Nigel Farage got fucking hit with a milkshake and, like,
Oh,
Newcastle?
right!
Yeah. And it was the most beautiful fucking thing. For a few days, just people would just throw milkshakes at politicians in the UK because they fucking hated them. And, like, there was just a point where Nigel Farage would hide in his fucking stupid-ass Brexit Party bus out of fear of being milkshaked.
Nigel, you have a meeting today. I can't. I might be milkshaked.
I'd rather not be milkshaked today, thank you very much.
I severely appreciate the fact that you made him sound incredibly constipated.
Yeah. Fucking... It's a voice I picked up from George.
Right. Should we move on?
Yes.
Please.
Well, where is the bootlace coming from? Asked the guard. We haven't one. Ask the passengers, said the driver. So the guard made everyone get out. Has anyone got a leather bootlace? He asked. They all said no, except one man in a bowler hat, whose name was Jeremiah Jobling, who tried to hide his feet. You have a leather bootlace there, I see, sir, said the guard. Please give it to me. I won't, said Jeremiah Jobling. Then, said the guard sternly, I'm afraid the train will just stop where it is.
God,
And everyone died.
The end.
It's just so funny.
Damn.
He's just fucking trying to hide. Jeremiah Jobling is the most fucking ridiculous man on earth.
It's such a funny fucking name too, like,
Yeah.
or at least it is to me in the headspace I'm in right now, which, you know, good enough for me. Fucking Jeremiah Jobling, like.
It's a fucking zooted name.
Zonked Jobling fucking hides feet on stream.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like, so, this is... Jeremiah Jobling would be an anti-masker.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
look at this bitch. He's
Alright.
being like, no, I won't do this thing to help the
The
rest
fun
of my
thing is,
peers."
I actually like that you can actually see him in the illustration.
Yeah. You can, like, pick him out, because he's, you know, the guy with the suitcase in front of his feet.
Oh my god, yeah, and he's just sort of got his hands in his pockets, like.
He's trying
like
to be
he's standing very,
inconspicuous.
like, yeah.
This is the thing, right? He's wearing a trench coat. He was actually on his way to an assassination, and he was hiding a gun. And that's why he really didn't want to give up his bootlace, because if they spot him, he'll have a difficult time getting away.
Oh, man. Jeremiah Jobling leads a very exciting life.
I love
Absolutely.
just looking in the chat and all of a sudden seeing Artemis there.
I'm sorry. I just
Sorry?
got a message that is there is no like context to this. It's just my friend Lucy saying you is Libel.
I mean, are you?
I mean, I'm Livy. I don't know if I'm Livul.
Jamie, when you edit the episode, can you include the image?
Put it somewhere in the crowd.
Maybe.
Among the passengers.
I'll see if
Put
I
fucking
can
Among Us
find.
there as well.
I'll see if I can find a PNG of fucking Artemis plush cat and put him in
Oh.
the crowd.
Oh, worry not. I'll make one right now.
Oh, good.
Send that to me too. Sorry.
You know, better.
I-
You know, maybe add Lucky Luciano too for good measure.
I'm just looking at this illustration right now.
Yeah.
And I really quite like the way the guard is just standing on a box.
Where do you get the
driver's
box?
Very
just
good.
there next to him, like, yeah,
They keep it for
he
emergencies.
means it. Like he's just sort of like standing on like his soapbox, like. Has anybody got a leather bootlace?
See, I really like to imagine the idea of the guard just dragging a piece of luggage out from the guard's compartment.
Oh yeah.
Just like, okay, Okay, come on. And then, like, it drops it on the ground. It's like, that's probably fine.
See, I think it'd be way funnier if this crate was just, like, lying around on the ground at this piece of line.
It was already in the fucking field.
Yeah. Nobody knows what it was doing there.
But, like, since it isn't over the fence, it's railway fucking property.
It is!
That's just there. Some fucking permanent way dipshit left it there.
It's just...
So this is the thing, right? They don't mention it in this story, but this is also the the field where James crashed, and Thomas just left a crate.
I have a feeling this will be important later.
Every single dumb thing that happens to James happens involving this field somehow.
I love it.
Yeah, those tar wagons, they came from a field.
Yeah, they were homegrown.
Hey, you don't grow your tar
Do
wagons?
you pasteurize your tar wagons?
I'm really looking for some free range hormone free tar wagons.
I know where I can get. I know. Where
I want them hormone
I'll hook you up.
filled. HRC tar wagons.
Yeah, honestly, I was wanting to make a similar joke as well. I just wasn't sure how to formulate it. So
Mari,
thank
I'm
you.
thinking of, like, a
Mari.
fucking HRT hench tanker.
I'm just imagining Murray just sticks a swirly straw into a tar tanker and just starts drinking the tar.
Oh no!
Dude, if drinking
She was forced to drink tar when she was 6.
Oh,
Ever since then, she was gay.
Dude,
I
if
was gay before
drinking
that.
tar from a tar wagon would just be like instant HRT, then fucking I'm going. I'm going
I'd
to the
do
nearest
it.
goddamn yard
Yeah.
I find. All right.
Just
Give
fucking
me the
leaping
straw.
in.
It has to be a swirly straw or it doesn't work.
Good by me. I love swirly straws.
I think we should move on to the next page.
Yeah, the next one's the last one, right?
Yeah, next one's the last
Yeah.
one.
Then the passengers all told the guard, the driver, and the fireman what a bad railway it was. But the guard climbed into his van, and the driver and fireman made James let off steam. So they all told Jeremiah Jobling he was a bad man instead. At last, he gave them his laces. The driver tied a pad of newspaper tightly round the hole, and James was able to pull the train. But he was a sadder and wiser James, and he took care never to bump coaches again.
I always really love that ending line in the episode.
Yeah. Just as he goes through the tunnel.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent to the man image with the
Yeah.
horse, but like in motion. You know?
Yeah. Just editing that scene so it just has man in impact over it.
See, I just love the concept of a bunch of people going up to a man named Jeremiah Joblin and telling him that he's a bad man for not giving the funny train with a face his fucking shoelaces.
I love the driver and
Yeah.
fireman just going in James to make the people fuck off by like blowing
Yeah, I
them
really
with
love how
steam.
just like, they're yelling at the like, the crew at first, but then like
Yeah.
after James hisses steam at them, they all just kind of like stop for a second and then they turn on Jeremiah.
Well, that is an entirely valid reading of it as well, and that's also really very funny. But I'm seeing it right now as just like they don't have anyone to complain to anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone has fucked off.
That's kind of what I was getting at too.
If we can't complain, we may as well solve the problem.
It's just they're just I love how passengers are like, you can tell who's writing a Thomas story, right? When the passengers are either portrayed as an angry mob or vaguely sympathetic people. Like, and yes, you could argue that the Rev did both of these, but I think early Rev and later Rev are like sort of kind of separate things. Maybe. I don't know, but
There's been a character arc involved somewhere
Yeah.
along the line.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
the
he
difference
discovered his
between
power.
it's the difference between fucking James and the Bootlace, where everyone crowds around the fucking guard, the crew, calling them all bad men. Capitalized, by the way. I love that it's capitalized so
Yes.
fucking much. A
I love
bad
it when Andre
railway.
does that. It's so good when he does that.
It's just, I love it.
Jeremiah
It's when I
Jobling
just-
gets the pink Vegeta Batman shirt.
Don't tempt me. I have a pencil out.
Oh,
Fucking, it's the difference between that and like Thomas gets bumped, where they're just like, "Oh, Birdie's grand, but we miss our train rides with you." Fucking, these aren't the same people.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the difference between the people who are on Thomas's branch line, which is like, seems like it goes, like, at least to me, like, it goes to like a kind of like small, like, villagey like area,
Yeah,
and then
Farquhar is a
very
pretty
local.
small village.
the people that have to ride James.
Yeah, the
There's
main
the
line
thing.
is an entirely different beast compared to the branch line.
I mean, that's the thing. Thomas, Percy, and Toby have a close friend who lives next to the railway.
Yeah.
James has a crate. You get
Andrew, if you, for some reason, model Mrs. Kindly's house, can you please just make, like, a fucking meme where it's just Thomas saying hello to Mrs. Kindly and then James saying hi to a fucking box?
You're the only one that understands me, Boxy.
You're the only one who can understand my feelings. Bro, I'm literally just a crate.
yeah.
Yes, and that's why I appreciate you.
I do have two things to bring up about this page that a commenter actually asked us to address. Kelly, she asked me to mention these, so I wanted to make sure we did. First is, did Jeremiah get his laces back? Which I like to think no, because it's funnier.
Yeah, that'd be funny
Yeah.
if he didn't. Like, he has to get off at the next station, and then the crew, he's like, okay, can I have my laces back? But the crew are just like, no, we still have to take this train all, like, to the end of the line. And he's like, okay, well, can I at least, like, see you tomorrow with them? And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll bring him back tomorrow. And then he shows up to the station tomorrow, and James's crew comes back, and he's like, oh, so it turns out somebody else took those coaches.
We
They might have
forgot to
taken your
take it
bootlaces
off.
with them.
It's like, so it turns out someone took the coaches. We don't know who. We don't know where they are.
And then the driver just has,
Sorry.
like, a different bootlace on his boot.
No, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. They just have the bootlace tied around James's whistle cord.
Souvenir.
So, and Jeremiah Jobling just fucking decides to go on, like, a fucking expedition to find his missing bootlace after that.
That's why we
Fucking
never see him
searching
again.
like Coldy
That's why we
Fell.
never see him again. Some say he's still looking for his bootlace to this day.
They say he's still looking for his lost woo bootlace.
Ooh! Spooky!
Brilliant. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Looking for some fur feet pics.
Oh god. Okay, so
Spooky.
her other question was that, like, he looks like more of a businessman in the book, but that, like, he's a railway inspector in the TV series, which...
I don't think they
that-
mentioned that in the
Yeah,
TV
no,
series.
No, they don't say what he does in either source material, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
reuse Jeremiah Jobling's model as a railway inspector in season 3.
Which,
Yeah.
honestly, like, I feel like, again, something that could have made the story a lot more
Which
interesting
isn't,
is
I
if...
may be wrong, isn't that a no joke for James?
Yeah, it is no joke.
So he's once again stuck with James.
Okay, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like if they made like this story about like James is actually taking like this really important railway inspector and he doesn't know it, and then like they take his fucking shoelace to fix James's fuck up, and then like like they get back to the station, the fat controller's like, James, what the fuck did you do? It's like, what? I do this all the time, and it's just the inspector's like, yeah, no, you failed.
Fuck you.
See, I think it'd be interesting character development if Jeremiah Jobling became an engine inspector just because of this bullshit. He was like, fuck this, nobody's having to go through this again. I am stepping up to the fucking plate.
That's even better. Oh god.
Yeah, no, see, that's not Jeremiah Jobling in No Joke for James. It's his brother Jeremiah Jobling, but with a G.
Oh, yes, of course.
God.
Something I really like about this story is that it is kind of two stories. There's the main story of, James learning not to be a dipshit and abuse the coaches. That's the main, story. But there's also, this sub-story at the very end where Jeremiah Jobling learns that he should not be a dipshit and, actually, put in the bare minimum to help his fellow people, especially when he's literally the only person who can help them. I think it's neat.
On like what we were talking about, James is amazing, and that's I think part of why I really don't like this story is because it's one of those things that you remember, at least for me, you remember it being way more interesting than it is, because it's barely anything happens, and not even just in the sense that it's a mundane story, but it's James doesn't do anything. Literally when the main plot point comes in, he just kind of falls out of the story, and it's it just feels like a major missed opportunity in a lot of ways. So
I don't know if I feel the same way, personally.
On another hand, it's I feel like it's sorry, I'll just be quick with this one. It's the plot happens because James fucked up a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
And now he's just gotta sit there while literally everyone around him has to sort it out.
I guess
I feel like it maybe would have been improved a bit if James was the one who came up with the solution.
I don't know. I don't think James is smart enough to come up with that.
He definitely isn't.
Even if they just had him react, I think it would have been fine. Because it's I guess, going to, number or engine, I guess, ratings, is it's in the TV series, it's marginally better for me because of the, we get a 1 second reaction implying James is embarrassed about the situation, which is more than the book where it's
Yeah.
they literally don't mention him after his last line, which is, "What's the matter?" And except for when they have him, "We steam," and the last line, and it's I don't know. I feel if they did something, I would like this story a lot better. But for now, it's just Gordon for me, because I can't even really call it just perfectly average the last story, because it's just, it reminds me of a Chris story in the end. Not as bad as his, obviously, but in kind of the character not really mattering all that much past maybe the premise.
See,
It's funnier than a Chris story.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah. See, I personally like this story more than the previous one because, with the previous story, I felt it was just kind of, average because it was basically just, establishing, re-establishing the setting and stuff, but there just wasn't any, there wasn't any real meat to it. Whereas this, this has, an actual thing. This has more things happening and consequences and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
just like, all, because it is divorced from its other half, so to say, it's
I-
kind of like a bit more. It's strange. I can't word it, but
Yeah.
I I just personally find the comedy involving, like, the solution to the problem, like Jeremiah Jobling and all that. I find that way more interesting and way funnier than what happened in the previous story. So for me, I feel like that puts it like 1 point above the last story, just because it has that like little bit more interesting thing happening. So I'm gonna give it a 6. Or Percy. I'm gonna
I
give it a
think
Percy.
I think I'll also give it a Percy, mainly because, like, yeah, no, I enjoy the story way more than the last one. Um, I feel like everything I'm about to say is just gonna be the same thing, the same things Jamie said, but like with different and probably worse words. But
I mean, that'll be that'd be an achievement, because I feel like my words there were pretty bad.
No, you explained it well.
you know, every day I achieve something increasingly stupid. So yeah, fucking, it's like, it is very weird, just sort of how, as Jamie put it, divorced this is from the last story. It's like they've the it's like you've got to go through the payoff to all of the stuff from the last story in order to actually get to the good bit. And then like Mari said, by the time you do get to the good bit, James might as well not really be there.
Yeah.
For me, I really don't know how I feel about this story, because, like, as I said in the last episode, I really, really liked James's episodes as a kid. Like, the season 1 James episode was one of my absolute favorites. And I'm kind of just sad because, like, whenever we go back to one, I just realize, wow, I don't get why I liked this. This isn't very good. And I guess, like James said, I like Jeremiah Jobling. I think he's funny. He's a funny guy. You know. That's about all it really has. So, like, I'm just gonna give it like a 5, because, like, I'm gonna give it a, that's our James, because I don't have the I don't have the energy to be upset with it, and I don't have the energy to be happy with it. So it deserves the character it's misusing.
Can I give a really stupid analogy, like, for kind of my feelings on this episode?
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
The last story and this, respectively, are kind of the difference, for me at least, between fucking Sonic Forces and Sonic 06. Because it's like, Forces is the better game in all intents and purposes, but it also doesn't really try and do anything actually interesting. Whereas 06 is like really has like a ton of potential and ideas that could be used really well, but it just doesn't do any of that, which is like kind of how I feel with this story, because it's like on paper way more interesting, and like there's a reason it's like a really memorable story, but then like the actual execution is just like nothing.
And then, of course, there's the bit where Jeremiah Jobling has to kiss James, and
Oh yeah, and then James is revived as
And
Super
then
James.
James says in the James and the Bootlace real time fan dub, he says, Jeremiah, I can never die.
Wait a minute. What if, like, Super Rocket, whatever, James from season 24 is James after Jeremiah Jobling revived him with a kiss in the Chaos Emeralds?
Speaking of Red Rocket now, fuck you all.
It's just like, Jeremiah, I have something to admit to you. I was gay before the light. And then he goes over to, like, Gordon and Henry. You want to start a polyamorous marriage?
Henry, you're a twink.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
The whole series, baby.
And that's how the
Okay.
how the series ended.
Honestly, when it comes to, like, updating this story, I feel like the TV series does it well just by combining the two stories. Like, if we were rating the TV series episode where these stories are combined into one coherent episode, like, this would easily be like a 7 or maybe even an 8. Because they are separated
Yeah.
for, like, no real reason, they both individually fall flat.
Yeah.
But luckily, now that we're through with this episode, next time we'll be tackling a story that is more complete, so to say. So,
Which one
thank
is
you.
next?
Huh?
Which one is next? I don't remember the order.
It's
Troublesome Trucks.
Troublesome Trucks, yeah.
Okay, I actually really like that one.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Shall I do
So-
the song again?
No.
So this book might have a little redemption arc. So, after, the front half may struggle a little bit, but next
But the
time,
second half.
yeah,
Hello.
next time on the Railway Series Book Club, we will be covering Troublesome Trucks, third story of this book, and
But that's a
guess-
story, literally, for another day.
We use that joke too
Troublesome
often.
Bye-bye, everybody!
yeah,
Bye
this is the
bye.
end of the episode, I guess. Bye bye.
Sorry,
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Jeremiah
Thank you
Jobling
for-
dabbed when he got home.